how's it going, guys? So this isn't a crowdfunding crap video. This is you see, I've decided to make a little spin-off because, people, well, no one in the comment section, but, like someone was saying to me, I don't want to say who it was like, you're so negative all the time, bro. You're so negative all the time, bro. Now, I don't consider this to be correct, but you know what? They got a point. Why do I always criticize all these bad projects when I never praise any of the good ones? Probably because it generates a lot more views, but And you might be like, isn't it a little bit too early in the series to start having spin-offs? Spin your fucking head off if you say that to me one more time, I swear to God. Oh god, that's probably not 30 seconds into the video. Bye ads. I was browsing my Steam library, right? Just logging on to Steam. I wasn't really... You get the point. I was just logging on to Steam. Now I saw something, here, it says in the Postal 2. Now, Postal 2 is one of my favorite games, you know what I mean? So, when I heard that they were making a documentary on it, and it was on Indiegogo, I had to, at least check it out, you know what I mean? Because, see what it was about. And it turns out it was actually really well put together. So, I figured, why not make this crowdfunding gold and, show these people, how you make a crowdfunding campaign. Because this is on Indiegogo, mind you. Not Kickstarter, Most of the good crowdfunding projects are on Kickstarter. And Indiegogo is just the worst of the worst. So that's pretty insane to me that it's on Indiegogo. And it's this good. Yeah, let's see what it is.
Man, so we should probably ask Vince or Mike for some money.
Before we ask everybody else.
Yeah, just to see if maybe we can get some additional funding.
Yeah, let's call Vince.
Okay, all right. He'll be fine with it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see.
In Postal World, let's see who this is. Hello?
Hey, Vince, it's Tad. So we're trying to get some crowdfunding money for the documentary, and we were kind of looking for your help.
Money for a crowdfunding project? What? You're making a movie? A documentary about Postal? Oh, that's nice. Oh, you want money? What the do I look like? A bank? Are you out of your mind? Oh, get the out of here. You fucking people. Wanting money all the time. That's everybody wants is fucking money. Suck my
Classic Vince. Like they said on the Steam page, they didn't have money for the pigeon mission, and they sure as hell don't have money for the documentary.
Hi everybody, my name is Tad Salee.
I'm Jason Sikorsky.
And we are the producers of Going Postal, The Legacy Foretold. It's a feature-length documentary all about the Postal universe. And yes, we're here to ask you for money, but we promise it is a worthwhile investment.
So why Postal? Well, Postal has its fair share of controversy since its inception in 1997.
From being the center of violence in video game debate,
to its extremely divisive reception between critics and fans,
to the debacle development of the third game, Postal 3, that was developed in Russia,
the film adaptation by infamous German director Uwe Boll,
and then the recent comeback of the franchise with its latest installment, Postal 4 No Regrets.
Whether you're a gamer, a fan of the franchise, or just somebody who appreciates a good documentary, we assure you that this is a story worth telling.
One thing I'd like to bring up is that they did a very good job of explaining what the Postal franchise is, and as this guy couldn't have put it better in in my words, but I'm gonna try to explain what he said and why I agree with that. Even if you're not really a fan of the Postal series, it's probably a good documentary if you're a fan of the video games. And if you're not a fan of video games, just a fan of controversies, it's probably still a good story. And if you don't know what the Postal series is, it does a very good job of explaining what it is. And a very good job explaining on, why it's an interesting story to tell.
We have a planned release date of sometime in 2022 if all goes well.
We also have interviews planned with Zach Ward, Chris Coppola, Uwe Boll, Larry Thomas, John St. John, along with extensive interviews from the president and VP of Running with Scissors, Vince Desi and Mike J, along the rest of their team, and some surprise interviews that I think fans are really going to appreciate.
Now, something I like here is that, they used a perfect amount of vagueness, right? So usually when projects are vague, it's a red flag. They're able to prove that Vince was in this, right? Which proves that, they have valuable people in this documentary. And they also showed Mike J, which proves that they're willing to get whoever they want. That took me 3 tries to say. It's not even a good joke, but it took me 3 and that took me 2 tries to say. But yeah, so they pretty much, keep in mind, like, they list out a fair amount of people when they say mystery interviews, right? But they also prove that they have notable people. So, you know, they're not bullshitting when they say mystery interviews. But, you know, they leave out very notable people. Like, you know, for example, they list pretty much everyone who works in the Postal movie. Pretty much everyone in that department is confirmed to be in the movie. But they don't really list anyone who works in the games aside from Vince or Mike J. You know, most notably, like, Corey Cruz, Rick Hunter. You know, they seem like they're obvious ones, but, you know, it could really be anyone in this mystery interview. You know, it could be like people from the Akela team, which I think would be nice to hear from. Just because I kind of want to know, like, how the fuck Postal 3 happened. Like, you ever played Postal 3? I fucking hope you haven't played Postal 3. Let's just put it that way. It could be just random developers, which I think they also... It could be, like, you know, Let's Players, like, you know, or people in the community, like Civi. Or it could be even, like, just... Like, what if it was, like, one of the senators who, like you know, was against the game when it came out? You know, because Postal 1 and Postal 2, like, you know, both got, like, mass media attention, so surely there's, you know... Like, I'm pretty sure, like, wasn't, like, Hillary Clinton of all that? Like, they're not gonna get Hillary Clinton for this, but, you know. So, yeah, it could really be anyone, right? And the best part is, like, they don't reveal, like, it. So people watch the documentary and be like, oh, yeah, they got this guy, man. And this guy's perspective. And that's gonna be super cool, because people watching the documentary aren't gonna, you know who they are. So, A+, Vagnus. I'm sorry that took a little bit to explain.
So far, we have self-financed this entire film, and now we are asking for a little bit of help. Making a film is obviously not very cheap, and we're trying to do this right. With these additional funds, we will be able to finish our documentary. These funds will be allocated into paying for our post-production cycle of the film, along with covering costs for distributing, marketing, and paying for our casting.
Alright, so yeah, one thing to note is that this project has flexible funding, but this is the absolute only time I've seen flexible funding used well. So basically, right, they already made the movie, but they need help in, like, post-production to make it, like, as good as possible. So basically, they're just using the funds to make it as good as possible. Like, no matter, even if they got no money, they would still release the movie, which is pretty good, I would say. You know, so the flexible funding is like, okay, we don't need all this money, per se, but we want all this money because, you know, we want to make this as best as possible, and we want to distribute this as much as possible. So again, pretty good right there.
We're super excited to share this film with you in the near future. As Postal fans ourselves, it will be an absolute pleasure to tell this story to you all.
The game Postal is creating such a backlash that it's making essentially the game is not for children.
I'm sorry. The person on the news just said Postal's not for children, like it was a surprise. I don't know if you've ever played Postal 2, but that's about as far as you can get for children. Like, there's not a lot of edgier games out there. For reward tiers, you got $5, a thank you. Okay, that reward tier is pretty bad. Like, I want to make that, like, just $1. $10 tier, you get email updates and 2 thank yous. Again, that is also way too expensive. That should just be a $1 tier. Like, I feel like if you fund the project, you should be updated on it. No matter what. Like, no matter how much money you spend on it. Like, you should be, like, you know, thanked and notified. Even if it's just, like, an automated response that they send to everyone. $20 you get the documentary. Alright. That's pretty fair. $40 you get a copy of Postal 4, which... Okay, that's pretty cool. The game's still in early... I must mention, though, the game's still in early access. So... That's something to consider. You're getting it for a really good discounted price if you consider you're also getting the documentary at that tier. So, that's a very good tier. And keep in mind, they have involvement with Running Your Scissors, so there's no reason to assume that they're not going to be able to uphold that tier. But yeah, keep in mind, Postal 4 is like $30 right there. So, you're saving quite a bit of money. For a $100 tier... For a $100 tier, you get your name in the credits. I feel like that should be a little bit cheaper than $100, but hey, you know, can't really give that to everyone. For $300, you get a poster signed by Vince and Mike J, as well as a Blu-ray copy with your digital download. I feel like that's not enough for $300, but hey, I mean, I guess if you're a Postal fan, that's not a horrible deal. I mean, you know, it's the men themselves. For $500, you get a shirt from the documentary. I don't know if I missed that in the previous year, but $500 seems a lot for that. For $1,000, you get early access screening, and you're invited to the premiere. Okay, so that's pretty cool. You get I would say that's a really good $5,000. Not $5,000. I would say that's a pretty decent $1,000 tier. You know, you get to go to the premiere of the movie. Presumably, the people who made the movie and some of the people that were in the movie are going to be there, and you get to watch the movie before everyone else. Okay, that's pretty good. I regret nothing. Okay, so your face gets to appear in the documentary. You get a producer credit, and you get an associate producer credit. You get to have a Zoom call with Vince Desi, and the producers of the movie. Okay, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Alright, so those reward tiers weren't too bad. They definitely could have been better, but I think those are pretty decent reward tiers. You know, them being associated with Running with Scissors, like, you know, they were able to get some pretty good rewards if you are a Postal fan. So yeah, that was pretty much it. There wasn't that much to cover with this project. But you know, I thought it was a pretty good project, and I thought maybe, like, you know, people should probably go support it. You know, or go buy the documentary when it comes out. You know, just be aware of it when it comes out. So I figured, hey, might as well make a video on it. You know. Also, sorry, it's been a while since I've uploaded, and if it looks like I haven't shaved since a while ago, yeah, I'm gonna. Don't worry, guys. Next month, okay? Next month.